us. I know you're a busy man, and the Illini football season kicks off on Saturday, Bob. They take on the Fighting Josh Allens of Wyoming. So let's talk a little bit about just this team this year, Bob. What's going to be new? I know we've got a new offensive coordinator. There's some, Brett Bielema's playing it close to the chest about who he's going to have on behind center for his quarterback position. We've got a lot of good young running backs. Good offensive line comes back. Just give us your overview of this team.
Well, first of all, the quarterback, he can say, I don't know who it's going to be, but we all know who it's going to be. It's Tommy DeVito, former Syracuse quarterback, will be the starter on Saturday. I'm 100% sure of that. He can't say that, didn't want to say that, that's fine. And actually, Wyoming's coach did the same thing, wouldn't name his starter, even though it's known. So that's one thing. I think the running game with the new offense coordinator will be really, really a key to the team, honestly. Chase Brown is 1,000-yard rusher, going to be back. He's got a lot of help. He's got, like you mentioned, really good offensive line in front of him. So I think that part of the game will be really fun to watch. I think they'll be successful. The questions are on offense are at receiver, because beyond Isaiah Williams, we just don't know. They could be fine. They could be really good, but I don't think we've seen enough to know for sure that they are going to be a stellar. So I think we'll see. We'll see how it role plays out. But I think offensively, this team is going to be much improved. Defensively is more of a question for me.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the offense a little more. Tell us what you know, Bob, about Tommy DeVito. What's he bring to the table for this team?
Well, first of all, experience. He was really good a couple of years ago with Syracuse. They kind of lost his job there, was kind of passed over by other guys. But despite kind of what happened to him in the last couple of years, he is supremely confident. And I think that's kind of a good thing for a quarterback. I always like my quarterback thinking, people keep talking about his swagger. And it could be a New Jersey thing. It could be just a Tommy DeVito thing. But that's kind of a great thing because I think the rest of the offense kind of rallied behind him. So I think there's no question he believes he can win, and that's good. And I think he'll do a good job. He's a pretty accurate passer. He's got a strong arm. He can move a little bit. He can run some. He's not perfect, but he was the best option for Illinois going into the season. And I think he'll be the starter until either circumstance or injury makes them have to switch. But I think he'll be the starter all year.
How confident are you in him as the quarterback? Because that's just, to be honest with you, until Brett Bielema gets himself a good long-term quarterback, I just feel like he's going to be dipping into the transfer portal every year, and he's going to be looking for those kind of rejects, I guess, and that maybe didn't pan out at the big-time programs they went to. How about Tommy DeVito? What do you think he brings to the table, just in terms of his talent and what he can do for this team?
Well, again, the fact that he's been on the field is a good thing. I do think you're right about one thing very important. Long term, for this program to win consistently, they have to start developing their own quarterbacks. So you have to bring in a Kirk Kidner or a Juice Williams or Nathan Shilas. You got to get one of those guys from high school, comes in, jumps in it early in his career, and becomes a 3-4 year starter. I think that's critical, and I think these coaches know that. So I think what they're doing now is it's a means to an end, right?
Right.
So you bring in Tommy DeVito, you get some wins this year, 6 or 7 if you can, and then you move on to next year. It may be another guy, maybe Sikowski, maybe one of the guys that's on the team now. So you'll see. But I think their plan long term is to do what I think is critical, which is get a long term quarterback. But for now, they're going to do whatever is best for them at this moment.
Right.
That is time.
Yeah, and that's fine. And if that's you certainly can say that that's the plan, but you got to prove it in recruiting and going and getting a couple of guys that you can say, hey, we feel like these 2 or 3 guys are going to be really competitive for that job, after year 3 or 4. But let's leave year 3 and 4 for Brett Bielema in year 3 and 4. Let's talk about 2022. You mentioned Chase Brown, Bob. I was so impressed with Josh McCray coming in as a true freshman. The physicality he played with last year, I was so impressed with. I think he's a big time guy. He'll play behind Chase Brown for the next few years, but I just love what this guy brings to the table.
Well, I agree. He's got a different kind of body, obviously, different strengths than Chase. But I think those two play off each other really well. I think they're different styles. Which if you're going to have two really good running backs, it helps that one's kind of lightning and one's kind of power, and that's kind of what they have right now. I think both guys can do both things, but I think they definitely have their strengths. So depending on the opponent, Chase Brown might be the best answer for one guy, but maybe McCray might be a better answer for the next team. So I think it's a great thing and they actually, beyond those two, they've got a lot of talent. Younger guys are really going to be good too. So they're that position. It's the strongest tier this year, certainly, and probably one of the best they've had in years in terms of just a position group. So great running backs right now, which is it's so helpful. If we're going to try to run the ball a lot, which they want to, you got to have those guys.
Right.
And Chase Brown, if Chase Brown stays 2 more years, which is no guarantee, I probably leave after this year, he could be the all-time leading rusher in Illinois if he has 2 great seasons. So that shows you where they are with him. But Josh McCray certainly has the talent to have a great career at Illinois as well.
In terms of who the DeVito kid is going to throw to, Bob, a guy that I'm kind of really hoping makes a step forward. He's been a bit absent in terms of his impact on offense. Luke Ford, the last couple of years since he transferred in from where did he come from? Was it Tennessee? I'm trying to remember Georgia. That's right. Yeah, Georgia. So I feel like he could be an impact guy, and the Washington kid could make a difference in the receiving game. What do you think, Casey Washington? What do you think about that?
Both those guys are definitely good examples of people that could help. But I think Luke Ford's case, I don't think it was a Luke Ford problem. I think it was a offensive problem. So they didn't have plays designed for him that worked. But I think the new coach, who's done great with tight ends over the history of his career, I think it's going to be a different animal that way. And remember, at tight end, Tip Ryman is also here. He may end up playing as much as Luke Ford. So those two could really be a big help to Illinois this year, and I think they'll be part of the offense. Not just blocking, not just making sure the quarterback didn't get hit, but also getting out down the field, catching passes, and trying to score touchdowns. So, I think those two could be good. And Casey Washington has a world of talent. And the question is, can they get him the ball?
Right.
I think this quarterback is better. I think it'd be more accurate than where they were last year. So I think they have a chance for him to have a good season.
Tell me about Barry Lundy Jr., Bob. What's he want to do with the football when he's got it?
Well, mostly they're going to be balanced. And last year, Illinois, I think, ranked 119th or 120th in the country in passing. So they did not want to be there again. They want to be balanced. So does that mean throwing the ball all the time? No, not in this case. They want to run the ball, but I do think what I've known about the offense, which is not a whole lot, they don't let us see any of it. It's going to be more fun. They're going to be doing things you say, wow, that's kind of cool. And I think that's going to happen more often than it has last year in the past. So I think it'll be fun to watch. I think they'll spread the field. I think they'll get guys down the field. They'll get receivers. They're going to do some crazy things, so it'll be fun to watch for fans.
And I really like, Bob, the way the defense played last year. I thought it was a great, Ryan Walters walked in with a lot of talent, and I thought he made the most of it. And I really like Ryan Walters myself. Was impressed with what he brought to the table last year. How about the defense? You mentioned the questions on defense. How about that unit this year?
Well, you're right about him. He's a terrific coach. He did a great job last year with that team. And I think the problem for Illinois with him, that's not a problem. The reality is somebody's going to hire him as a head coach not very long from now. I think 2-3 years down the road, they continue to play like they do. Somebody's going to, and plus he's such a good personality and so good with the kids, recruiting and all that stuff. I think somebody's going to pluck him. Somebody, maybe a Mac school or even higher than that will come in and say, Ryan Walters, come be our head coach. But for now, Illinois got this guy that's really good. They get some use out of him, and I think they could have a really nice season that way. I do think the defense probably won't be quite as productive as last year because the players they lost. Kirby Joseph was really, really good. Yeah. We're going to look back at him and say, wow, that guy was, kind of a star. And he didn't get appreciated here until Coach Bielema came in, but boy, he did a good job. So I think they'll be fine. It won't be quite as good as last year, but he's got good skill and he's got good kids ready to go.
And I'll tell you what, Calvin Avery was a guy that came in with a lot of hype, Bob, and really has been kind of absent on the defensive line. If he does some things this year, perhaps that really is a shot in the arm for this defense.
No, and he plays the position they need help at. So yes, I don't think there's any question he could have an impact. These guys, right out of Texas, came in very highly hyped, but this hasn't worked out. He's never been able to find the right position. But I think they got him in a place now that it should work well for him. He'll help them.
No question. Tariq Barnes, I saw, was named defensive captain, and he's another really solid one. He came on a couple of years ago. Jake Hansen went out against Wisconsin with an injury, and he came on. I want to say he was a true freshman that season, and he really showed what he can do, and he's just a terrific player.
Yeah, I agree. He's a really good tackler. He finds the ball carrier, which is what you're supposed to do. And these guys that also clearly, when you're elected captain, that's the players that do that. That tells you how much respect that his teammates have for him. So I think the fact that they said, yes, we want you to lead us, that's a great sign for him. So yes, he's a good kid, works hard. So kind of one of those guys you want to have on your defense. Yeah, I think he'll have a good year. No question.
No doubt. How about special teams, Bob? That's a unit that's won a couple of games for Illinois over the years. How about what they've got going on this year?
Well, they're all new, so that's tricky. But this doesn't have to be a death sentence because Caleb Griffin from Danville has great talent. He's a kid who was a great athlete in high school, so I think he's ready to do this. Jameson McCourt was really solid during his career, but I think Caleb was ready to go. I think he'll win a game or two for Illinois. And punter is just a cool story. Hugh Robertson from Australia, another guy from Australia. They like those guys. He was a cop and a soldier in Australia. Now he's here. He's I think he's 28, 29 years old. He's here as a punter. He's got 3 more years to play. So I think he's ready to go. It'll be fun to watch him, and he's great. It's great to talk to him too with the awesome accent.
Bob, who are 2 or 3 guys kind of flying under the radar whether it's offense or defense that we maybe should keep an eye on as the season gets started on Saturday?
Well, on offense, the guy has been talked about some, but maybe not enough, is Pat Bryant. He's a receiver. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that played some last year, but he's good. He's good size. He's got great talent, great skill. And so I think he's a guy that could have a really nice season. And then I'm trying to think, there's a lot of guys on defense that could come in. One guy we haven't mentioned is CJ Hart, the linebacker. Last year had an awesome opener against Nebraska. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He basically won the game for a little while. He had a fumble return for a touchdown. And then, unfortunately, in that game, he got hurt. Tore his knee up, was lost for the year. He's totally healthy. He's ready to go. I think he will be an impact player right away at linebacker. So no question, but a CJ Hart.
Very good. We'll keep an eye on those guys. Bob, let's take a time out here, my friend. Come back with some more. Bob Ausmussen, Illini beat writer with the Champaign News Gazette, our guest on the phone. More to come with him on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW. Keep you connected. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn higher, beans lower, wheat steady. September corn $6.69 1/4, up 3 1/2. December corn up a nickel, $6.62 1/4. March corn $6.67 1/2, up 4 3/4. September beans up 1/2 penny, $15.61 1/4. November beans down 10 3/4, $14.46 1/4. January beans down 10 3/4, $14.51. September wheat, $7.94 3/4, down 1/4. December wheat, up 1/4, $8.13 1/2. September bean meal down $8.10, $4.59.60. September bean oil up 40 cents, $69.17. The livestock market, August feeder cattle, $181.57, up 35 cents. August live cattle down 27 cents, $141.05. And October lean hogs, $90.20, down 17 cents. In the energy market, October crude oil, 94.22, down 67 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month. And get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Here at Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton, we're putting out our fall decor and our cooler weather clothes just in time for school. This is Connie reminding you to bring us your donations and to check out our Facebook page or DeWittDailyNews.com for our weekly sales.
This is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. Don't get burned.
No worries, I have my SPF 1000.
It's time to list your house with us while the market's still hot.
Like picking wrapped jalapenos.
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
List your house today by clicking the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Bob Ausmussen, Illini beat writer with the Champaign News Gazette, is on the phone with us here for this morning. Bob, a lot of hype around the Illinois football program, and I have to be honest, I don't know. My expectations aren't maybe as high as a lot of other people's. What say you?
Well, I'm just not sure. I've covered this team for 33 years. So I've seen years where I thought, wow, they're going to be good. I've seen years where I thought, wow, this could be a struggle. And this year, I'm kind of in the middle. I don't know. I think it's really important for them to get off to a good start. So if they lose Saturday, that'll be trouble. If they get up to win the game Saturday, maybe easily, come back the next week, beat Indiana over there, which would be huge. I think they have got a chance to have a nice season. So I just don't think we know yet. Got to see how the quarterback plays. Got to see how the offense looks. But there's a lot of questions. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
In terms of the schedule this year, Bob, I feel like a lot of opportunity for some wins. I think at Nebraska will be tough. Obviously, your Michigan States, your Michigans, even Northwesterns will be tough. Wisconsin, Iowa, obviously. But I think there's some opportunity to pick up some wins on this schedule. What do you think?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think the non-conference schedule, except Virginia beat Illinois last year at Virginia. And they're coming here with the same quarterback, but the new coach. So what that will look like, we have no idea. But that team, we know last year they beat it up on Illinois pretty good. That was a different Illinois team than the one that finished the season. I think that if they played last year, later in the year, I think Illinois would have played much better.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That's to me, Wyoming is challenging, but not as good as Virginia. And then it's Chattanooga, Illinois should beat them.
I can't believe you're dissing the fighting Josh Allen's, Bob. Come on.
And I'm dissing them. I think they're good. I told somebody, I think that game's going to be close. 27-20 is what I keep calling it. So I think the Illinois offense will play better, but I think Wyoming, you don't know a whole lot about them either. So anyway, schedule is set up pretty well. You have the right teams coming here. So you got Minnesota coming here. You got Iowa coming here. That's critical because those games on the road would be hard.
Yeah.
So I think the fact they're coming here, Purdue comes here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some games Illinois can win.
Sure. Bob, how about what Brett Bielema's done on the recruiting trail? Are you impressed? Are you hoping for more? Like, what do you think about that?
I think eventually, I think he came in with a tough situation. The state of Illinois had not been recruited very well by Levi Smith. So I think he had a kind of an uphill climb. I think they will get there. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think right now they're ranked in 10th or 11th in the Big Ten in recruiting. That's fine. You want to be top 50, maybe eventually top 20 if you can do that, the top 30 to win the Illinois. But if you look at his classes at Wisconsin when he was there, they didn't always have top recruiting classes. They had good recruiting classes, but what they did was they got kids that fit their system. And I think that's what he's going to do here. Just might take more time than people think.
Bob, what are you looking for Saturday from Illinois?
Well, again, think we're kind of in the dark about the offense. We just don't know what's going to happen. So I think, will they come out and throw a bomb in the first play? I doubt it. If I had to get, I can call the first play right now. It's going to be pitch a handoff to
Sidney
Chase
Brown. Yeah, yeah,
Chase
right.
Brown. It's got to be almost automatic, right? But if they want to mess with the Wyoming, they will come out and do the opposite. They'll come out and run some sort of pass play and mess with them and have them guessing the whole game. But I just don't know. I think Illinois will win, but I'm not sure what kind of game it's going to look like.
Well, hopefully, Bob, we'll see. Let's wrap our time up together, Bob, just talking some Illinois basketball. And, boy, if there's a team that at Illinois that should have some hype around it going into the 2022-23 season, it's basketball. I mean, my goodness, Brad Underwood did Omen's work on the transfer portal. He's got a dynamic freshman class. I really like the sophomores that he's got coming back this year. Coleman Hawkins returning. Just this team should be unreal, in my opinion.
I think so. It's going to be, again, a little bit unknown because Kobe is gone. All the seniors are gone, but yes, they have talent.
Yeah.
And that's a key thing. Brad Underwood has done an unreal job of bringing players to Champaign.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that was the key to getting this thing fixed. He's done it. And the next step for them, of course, is win games in the tournament beyond the first weekend.
Right.
Which I think sometimes it's more of anything that's in a draw. Last year, I think if they got a bad draw, Houston was not a good team to be playing with.
No.
Obviously, they were really good. So I think Illinois have a good season this year. I think they'll definitely be in the tournament. I think they could be maybe a top 5 seed. So, top 20 in the country. I think if they do that, they're going to have a chance to make a long run. I think once they get past that first weekend hump, which I've seen before at Illinois, then they'll be off the races. But,
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I think he's doing a great job.
It's a team with good talent and quality depth. That's just what's huge to me. It's like a 9-10 deep group, and that's really solid. So, and that's good for competition and practice as well. Bob, I got to let you go, my man. Where do folks follow along with you at?
Go to Bob Ausmussen on Twitter and Illini HQ.
That is Bob Ausmussen with the Illini, the Champaign News Gazette Illini beat writer with us here for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way on the WHOW Morning Show.